I build software entirely with AI, which means every single line of code in these softwares is written entirely with AI using Claude Code and Cursor. And I'm going to share with you in this video not how I code and how I build these apps, but how I'm actually marketing and bringing on customers without running any paid ads, pretty much 100% automated. And it doesn't actually require you to have much marketing experience. And it all works on autopilot in the back end. I don't really do anything. In fact, I didn't even realize this was happening until today when I'm filming this video. So in order to understand the marketing, you need to understand a little bit about what the product is. So the product I'm selling is CodeSpring. It is your AI technical copilot to help you vibe code any app without any technical experience. And it all comes down to creating these product requirement docs. And it uses a very visual builder to actually build your apps. Now it also has courses and it has templates that you can use to build your apps with. So it's a pretty powerful product. But all of the marketing is done through the CodeSpring app YouTube channel and also through Instagram. Now, I want to share with you some of the numbers. So between the start of this year to July, so in the last 5-6 months, it's done about £60,000. So it's not, crazy numbers, but it's pretty good. £10,000 per month for this product is not too bad, right? But what I want to share with you more is actually the subscriptions, because if you look at this chart here, right, I didn't start charging subscriptions until right at the end of May. So between the end of May and now, it's done about 18, 19, £20,000 in annual recurring revenue. So 90% of my focus has been bringing on yearly subscriptions for the software, because for me, yearly subscriptions are a lot more valuable. I get money up front, which means I can reinvest that into the product, I can reinvest it into marketing, I can make the experience better for my customers, and I can bring on more customers because I have a lot more money to work with, right? I can help more people if I have more money. But there is an element of insecurity in that, because annual recurring revenue is great, but it only matters at the end of the year or once that year cycle has completed, because then, I know year on year, at least now I'm making £20,000. I know I've done £60,000 so far this year. I know by the end of the year, I'll probably be doing 100 or £200,000, right? Depending, seeing how things are going at the moment, pretty exponential, right? But I need monthly recurring revenue, and that's what I want to talk about in this specific video. If we actually come onto the payments page, you can see 5 payments for monthly recurring revenue have come in the last 4 days. So I'm making £40 per month per day in monthly subscriptions without doing any work. But here's a really cool, interesting thing, because I didn't realize this. Up until now, all of my marketing has been done through Instagram, both on the CodeSpring app Instagram account, but also primarily from my personal Instagram account. So if you're not following me, go ahead and follow me over there on Instagram. And I get a good number of views per video, and every single one of these videos is showing how I'm building the business, kind of a short version of what I'm showing with you here, but on Instagram. And then from that, I drive traffic to CodeSpring, right? And I sell yearly subscriptions through webinars. I'll do a video on that. I don't want to confuse you guys in this specific video. But because of that, nobody's been able to buy monthly recurring revenue. So now I was confused where all of these payments were coming from, because up until now, I haven't been promoting it. I haven't been telling people go to the website and sign up for monthly, because I've been getting them to come to the webinars to sign up for yearly, right? Which is why if you come onto the CodeSpring homepage, right, there is no button to go ahead and go and view pricing. Now, if you want to, you can sign up for the app, and it's going to lock the entire thing down, and you have to then put in, payment details and upgrade to monthly or yearly in order to be able to get access. But most people weren't doing that, and I didn't really care too much until I started to make these sales. And I was like, why is that happening? And I realized it's because all of my marketing I'm doing is now from YouTube is actually bringing in automated sales without me really doing any work. But this is where it gets really interesting, because I haven't done much work yet. I've posted 2 videos, 2,500 views, but I was pushing these people to the webinar, and then I realized everybody who's watching these videos, none of them are coming to the webinar. Why is that happening? But for some reason, they are actually able to find the pricing page and actually manually check out, right? They're buying. But I realized they were coming to the pricing page and there wasn't actually a functioning checkout link, okay? Because what I wanted to have was a pricing page where they could pay up front before they create an account. And I hadn't really spent much time on it because I thought, well, nobody's going to this website. So instead, what I did is 4 days ago is I worked on fixing this pricing page, right? And all it is you put in your email, you continue to payment, and then it will go ahead and it will create a checkout for you so you can go ahead and complete your purchase. Once you complete your purchase, you can create an account. It will use the same email to create the account, and then it will give you access to the pro plan so you can get access to all of the features inside the app. I've been putting it off for far too long, but obviously, right, now people can go ahead and pay before they sign up. For some reason, they're getting much better results. Now, typically this as a funnel would not work, right? If you said to someone, go to the website, go directly to the pricing page and pay before you use it, nobody would do that because they don't know what it is, how it solves a problem, or if it's worth the investment. In this case, however, because of the YouTube channel, they already know what the product does, how it solves their problem, so they just want to buy. In the link of all of these videos, I was pushing them to the webinar sign-up page. nobody was signing up, which means they must have manually, right, been going directly to that pricing page and typing it in themselves, typing in the URL themselves and upgrading. And this is, I think, a very important thing that, like, in terms of marketing, is testing and split testing different funnels and making sure you're tracking everything. So I'm actually using Hyros to track all of my sales. But this is a really important thing, is you need to be tracking sales. You need to know where those sales are coming from, so you know what marketing efforts are worth spending time on. And here you can see I'm actually using Hyros to track those sales. This is one of those situations where not having the data is actually teaching me or showing me something. Because you can see, right, these are the payments that are coming through, £350 for the $350 for the yearly plan through the webinar, right? I've got these payments here, $55, $55. This is the monthly plan, Instagram and Google search. Okay, cool. So they've come from my personal brand and then they've gone ahead and searched on Google, or they've just signed up and they've instantly upgraded in the account, right? So that basically means that these payments are quite interesting, right? So July the 19th, 20th, 21st, and the 22nd, suddenly these payments are coming in, but they're coming in with no origin source, which basically means somebody is going and they're typing in directly this URL. Okay, they're going directly to this URL and they are creating an account. And then they're paying first before they create an account, which is really interesting. How else would somebody else be able to find this? And I realized if we actually come onto this and we come onto the YouTube channel, right, the 10th of July and the 14th of July is when I started creating content on YouTube. Come down here, right, 10th, 11th of July, 12th of July, 18th, 19th, 20th, 21st. So all of these payments here, most likely, are coming from YouTube, okay? And that's the really interesting thing, because actually, by creating this content on YouTube, I thought, well, I'm getting thousands of views, I'll push them to the webinar, I'll get really high conversions on the webinar. But if we actually go ahead and we look at the content of these videos, 1.7 thousand views, 57 hours of watch time, right? If we actually have a look at the engagement, average retention of 2 minutes engagement. So what do I say in these videos? Because clearly something's working that's converting these customers. So if we actually go ahead and watch this video here, you can see I'm explaining, we're going to build a fully deployed logo generator app in less than 15 minutes. And the first thing I do is quite deliberately, right, is show them how to build an app using CodeSpring, okay? I'm actually planning out the build with CodeSpring. I'm showing them how to actually plan it out, how to add the context to the app, right? So every single one of these videos for the first 2 minutes has been showing them the benefits of using CodeSpring in an actual workflow. It then shows them how to use the CodeSpring boilerplate, and then at around the 3-minute mark, suddenly we're cloning the boilerplate and we're actually starting to build an app on top of it, right? And this is the really cool thing, is they have to be able to have a CodeSpring subscription in order to be able to follow along on this video. And I think what's happening is sometime around here, they're literally just looking at the URL up here, right? And from there, they're just Googling codespring.app. If we come onto Google and we just search CodeSpring, right, we are ranking at the top. So they're coming onto CodeSpring like this, and then they're manually typing in pricing, and then they're manually creating an account, which is so inefficient, because up until now, all of those views I've been pushing to a webinar, they're not registering for that. So what I've done now is I've updated that funnel, and I'm basically saying if you want to use it, go directly to the pricing page, right? This is going to redirect me into the app, but go directly to the pricing page to create an account for CodeSpring. Now this is where it gets really interesting again, because if you look on Google Search Console, the amount of traffic that I'm getting to the website just from Google, people searching directly, has massively increased on, guess what, the 10th of July. When was that? 10th of July, when I created this first video. So there has been a massive correlation in only just a few hundred, 2,500 views on YouTube, the number of people that are obviously searching up the brand and then trying to go ahead and create an account. And then if we come to the actual, I need to fix this payment issue, come to the actual app, right, and we look at here and we go to pricing, nobody has really found this page, right? 99 clicks in the last 7 days coming to this pricing page. Obviously this is now skyrocketed because I've put the link in the YouTube descriptions. So these are all high quality leads who've watched the video, understood what Cursor does, seen that it solves the problem, gone to this website, and then deliberately looked for pricing and then paid. That landing page is getting an 8% conversion rate. That conversion rate is obviously that high because these are high quality leads that are deliberately searching for that specific page. So essentially what I've done now is I have just changed the link in the description. Rather than pushing them to the webinar, I've decided that obviously they've learned enough about CodeSpring in order to want to be able to pay for it. They've gone seeking out that payment link. Why don't we just send them directly to the pricing page, get access to CodeSpring, get them to sign up and create an account and pay for it. And this is part of this whole organic marketing strategy. You just need to build systems in place that provide trust to people, show them that your product solves a problem and how it solves them a problem, and they will buy. And basically that's what my goal is now, right? So most of my time is spent coding and building the app, and then I just sit down and while Claude Code builds me out a new feature for 20 minutes, I will film a video on how to use CodeSpring to solve a problem, post that onto YouTube, get 1,000 views, bring in a load of customers. So I'll keep on doing videos and showing you how this performs over the next few weeks or months. But I want to have the point where CodeSpring is making £5,000 in monthly recurring revenue, because that just gives you a lot more security. But it's just doing it passively in the background, right? I could put the prices up now. I probably will do. Put it up to 50 or 60 or 70 or even £90 per month. Because if I can still bring in subscription payments for monthly, then perfect, right? Why not? And that's kind of the ultimate goal, is have both monthly recurring revenue, have annual recurring revenue, running paid ads eventually to annual recurring revenue, having passive monthly coming in. People who can't afford the annual will pay for the monthly. And there's a lot that goes into getting all of this set up. But there's one thing that I can guarantee is if you have an Instagram account, if you have a YouTube account that is niche specific, showing people tutorials on how to use your app, you are going to get a significantly better conversion rate. You're going to get a lot of customers coming through. And you can see how just a couple of videos can make you, that's current run rate of £1,500 per month in recurring revenue. Okay, so that is ramen profitable with 2 videos on YouTube. Absolutely insane.